3,700 plus first contacts on it. So I just use that as my network to get out of the field. Very useful.
When you said you build a community, how do you go about doing this particular case sample information?
It is a step-by-step process. The only thing that will interest you is what I said earlier, what's in it for me. So for example, if I tell you that come and join my community, you say, for what? What are you going to do for me? Are you going to give me some enlightenment? Are you going to give me something better? So just as an example, when I was in iTrades, our target audience was CXOs in banks. Okay? They were either technology guys, business heads, that was our audience. We actually spent a considerable amount of money providing them thought leadership. So we would be an aggregator of thought leadership for financial services. And we put that up on our website. It was basically a thought leadership portal, where we started the portal with a lot of research that we put out, a lot of things that we put because of interest. We had one goal in mind. As a CDO or a CEO or a CFO or a CIO in the company, we want to make you the hero. So when you stand in front of your board, your peers, your department, whatever, they will see you as a guy who has knowledge about something. And who will provide the knowledge? We will provide the knowledge. In return for that, many of them would come to us when they had an RFP to close, or a tender to close. It took us about 3 years to do that, but when I left iTrades, we had 19,000 people who were part of the community. They all subscribed to the community because they were getting some information. So ultimately, the only way to build it is with what's in it for me. Today, I get a lot of requests coming to me. Today, actually just yesterday, somebody wrote to me on LinkedIn and said, I'm on your contact list, and I want to know something about a career. This is a person who's relatively junior in marketing. It's a what's in it for me. I want something from you. I want something through which I will benefit. Then people will join. If you start making it hard sell, people are going to run it because they don't want to buy. They have got enough of money. They don't want to buy. They buy subtly, but they won't buy. They won't respond to a sales pitch.
When you are handling a negative publicity on social media,
we are not doing it for any client today. We are not handling it personally for any client. But I think the key thing on handling negative publicity on social media is there are 2 or 3 things. One is you got to be listening very intently to what people are saying. You got to respond very quickly. So there's a famous incident of the coffee day. I don't know if you heard about it, but a bunch of guys went to coffee day. They drank some coffee. They had a meeting. Few of them drank. When they were leaving, the coffee day guy said, "You got to pay a power charge." So these guys said, "Power charge? Who pays the power charge in coffee?" He said, "Well, 40 of you guys came, only 10 fellows drank coffee, 30 guys occupied my chairs, so the opportunity lost for me. You got to pay." So they had an argument with them. They finally said, "Okay, we paid." They paid and they walked out. 2 guys blocked about it, and they went. It was about 6 in the evening. Basically, by the next morning, 10 o'clock, there were hundreds and hundreds of people who commented. Unfortunately, the discussion went way beyond the scope of it. People started saying coffee and barista is better than coffee, which was beyond the scope of this whole thing. That what started. The whole thing started was, why should I pay a power charge? That is very simple. Coffee day answered only at 10:30 the next morning. That is very low problem. So crisis has to be handled immediately, and admission has to be there. The other problem we see is companies who don't admit that they are at fault, and they try to put on a very holier than thou attitude. We saw that with Dell in China. Okay, a laptop actually blew up, a battery blew up. Okay, the guy who was using it, it caught fire. Okay, Dell put out a single line, sanitized, legal version saying all our products are made to the highest quality standards. So this is, can't happen. This guy put it on a social channel in China, even by. And soon people started saying, yeah, I also use a Dell product, it's not good, this, that, mine also something happened, it went like that. Ultimately what happened, 3 years later, Dell had to actually recall that entire series of laptops which had this particular patch. My only point is, if you do it immediately, you respond quickly, you save all that face that you have. That damage that is caused in the public forum is saved. A lot of the automobile companies today handle a negative issue by proactively doing something and recalling a bunch of cars which were produced in this thing because the tires are weak, the spark plug is causing a problem, whatever. That saves you a lot of trouble. Cadbury's was another example of how things moved up. It happened in Kerala. They found worms in the chocolate. First thing was blame the distributor. He doesn't store properly. My product is the best. Then what happened? It went out of control. Finally, they spent hundreds and thousands of rupees in getting Amitabh Bachchan to be a brand ambassador. It went the other way around. So our problem today is that, and again, I attribute this largely to people like me who are above 40 age. Our thinking is very different. We believe we can still control. You can't control. So the best thing is when you have made a mistake, you admit. You say, I'm very sorry. Actually, you say a face that. But public doesn't be shocked. Nobody really remembers, all the positive incidents actually, honestly speaking, nobody remembers. Nokia, for example, recalled a whole series of batteries proactively. They put ads in the paper saying our batteries are whatever. You can go exchange, whatever it is. Today we don't recall that so much as we recall Dell and Coffee Day and Cadbury and all these guys who did the negative stuff. So I think crisis management is something where you admit the group of people respect you for that. You will take a hell of a lot of heat for the first 3 years. Okay? But they will remember you as a company that is on. Anything else you want to talk about or ask?
So yeah, so there is anything for anyone else to ask, like questions and all, to say like a great amount of thanks for Sir Peter coming down here and giving this great session about brand building for Startup Village. And I've been asked like, for those who doesn't know me, I'm Gokul. I'm working as a director for new initiatives here. So I would like to ask all the startups who come here to know about what more sections on marketing, communications and sales that you guys benefit. Like for example, Peter Sir is here and he has given a good session for us. So would you guys recommend any more sessions like this to happen? So if that's there, like we would figure it out right now. Any inputs from anyone here? So yeah, so let's thank Sir for this wonderful session.
You can just look for me on LinkedIn if you have some follow-up questions or whatever it is. I'll have to respond to you personally on email if you want to just send me an email. So if you have a question that you think about later, or you have a problem that comes up later in the marketing area, happy to help you with whatever you